All right, so this is Frankie with Society of Native Nations out here at the Capitol at Indigenize the Capitol Day. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started here, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch it over so you guys see what's going on.
Welcome to Kashla. It's a good day. We're here today celebrating. We're here in front of the Capitol. When was the last time you seen the tipi at the Capitol? We're here praying in a good way for our people, for the land, for the water, our missing and murdered Indigenous women. Pray that everybody have a safe trip here and a safe trip home, and everybody take something back with them to their communities, to help their communities out. It's been a long time since I've been to the Capitol. That we're here in a good way, one heart, one mind, praying together. Praying for our loved ones, praying for our families, praying for our people. So everybody here in a good heart, dance hard, pray hard, and pray that they listen to us up in there. Oh, Takiyasa.
So I just want to thank everybody for coming. My name's Jennifer Falcon, and I've been running the campaign for Society of Native Nations against the Critical Infrastructure Bill HB 3557. For about 2 months now, Society of Native Nations has been lobbying here at the Capitol. We've been meeting with representatives. Maida over here made some really great cupcakes that looked like a leaking pipeline on top that we left with all the committee members with letters asking them to vote against the bill. Unfortunately, the bill has passed through the House and passed through the Senate 2 days ago and is headed back to a conference committee in the House. We're a little bit worried that they will be taking the amendments off that the Senate added, which was knocking down part of the penalization to Class C misdemeanor. So we're kind of waiting. We just found out an hour ago that this was going to happen. So we definitely need you guys to also call all of your state representatives and let them know that we still want this bill stopped. Today in Louisiana, a Indigenous Environmental Network affiliate, Ann Whitehat, was the lead plaintiff in a suit against the sister bill in Louisiana, which resulted in 14 water protectors from the Louis La Vie camp being arrested and charged with felonies. So across the country, ALEC is sponsoring these bills, but Indigenous communities are leading the fight to strike them down. And we will continue to fight HB 3557 every step of the way. I wanted to ask Mark Tilson if he could come up. Mark spent a long time at Louis La Vie, and he can give us a little more insight in what happened in Louisiana.
Good afternoon, my relatives. My name is Mark Kenneth Tilson. I'm a poet and an educator from Porcupine, South Dakota. I was out at Standing Rock for about 5 months, serving in the role as a police liaison and a nonviolent direct action coordinator, nonviolent direct action trainer. At Louis La Vie, I showed up, got arrested a couple of times, locked down once, and did my best just to follow the Indigenous leadership that was leading the camp there. And I was there for about 6 months. One of the things, the main purpose of these bills is to scare us. The entire purpose is to make us feel as if we don't have recourse. It's made so that our allies get cold feet, that they don't want to organize with us, and that they don't want to prepare to stop these pipelines. The reality of the situation is we've picked up 17 felonies and a handful of our people picked up multiple ones. So there's 14 different people charged with these interfering with critical infrastructure in Louisiana. Today it's good that and White Hat and the Center for Constitutional Rights is challenging these bills on the constitutionality of them. One of the things about them is that most of these are written in such a way that they are unconstitutional, and the greater power in them is not throwing people in prison for 10 years, but creating the fear around it. Most often, I believe that these bills, the reason why you're seeing so few people charged with them is because they don't want to take this all the way to the court. They don't want to have to test the constitutionality. They don't want to have to take this all the way to the Supreme Court and see them fail. So they work as like a blunt tool, as a threat rather than an actuality so far. At Louis La Vie, a lot of us thought like that's it. After the bills became activated in August, that was going to be the end of direct action. But direct action kept on going for months and months after that, after August. And people were still rolling out on the pipeline itself, in the Atchafalaya Basin, out on the land, shutting down work and shutting down ETP. And over in Louisiana, we were fighting the same company that we fought at Standing Rock, that we've been fighting all the way from the back in oil fields. I think one of the things that we learned is that there's a period of time before the bill is passed and then when it's activated, and that's kind of like harvest season. Plant hay while the sun shines. So take advantage of the fact that there's going to be a moment where these misdemeanors are going to hold and they're not going to be felonies. And have fun.
Thank you, Mark. I wanted to expand on what Mark was talking about. About 2 weeks ago, Society of Native Nations, with our allies at Extinction Rebellion, held an action where we unrolled banners on the House floor. And we were detained for a bit and got verbal trespass warnings. But the reason of that action was after the second vote, we saw that 7 Democrats were voting for the bill. And we were able to flip 7 Democrats to vote against the bill, knocking down the 2/3 majority rule, which allows us to organize against the Permian Highway and the Jupiter Pipeline until September without the threat of felonies hanging over our head. So that was a victory. So I want to introduce Society of Native Nations Executive Director Frankie Arona to say a few words.
First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. Again, we're here simply to tell these politicians and invite them to come down here and explain themselves, right? They're more than welcome to come down here and talk and speak on this mic. But we're here to let them know that as Indigenous people, we've always been here, long before this building existed. Long before this building existed. And we've always been here. And we'll always continue to be here. No matter how many laws, no matter how many policies and bills they try to pass or do pass to try to silence us, to show us that oppression and colonial mindset still exists today, we're still gonna be here. We're still gonna come up here and let them know that we're holding them accountable and that we're saying enough is enough. Enough is enough, and we're tired of being ignored. We're tired of not being acknowledged. And for all those people that say, all those environmentalists, those activists, they go out there and they just cause problems and they do this and they do that. Let them know that we spent 2 months in that building right there lobbying. We're not just out there fighting on the front lines and on the grassroots level. We're in that building lobbying. The women of society and the community that's here that have took on this campaign have done an amazing job. Amazing. Taking the lead. An all-women-led campaign of trying to lobby to stop this bill from going through. So we're not just on the grassroots level trying to help our communities at the front lines, but we're in there too, trying to talk to them, trying to plead with them and tell them, you know what? We're tired now. We're tired of you ignoring us, and we're here to let you know that we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to be here every year. to hold you accountable to whatever it is that you're trying, whatever those laws are, whatever those policies are. You know, we're going to hold you accountable, and we want you to know that we see you and we hear you, and we're here to tell you enough is enough. So, you know, with that said, you know, many of them don't realize that before those words existed, environmentalism and activism, it was part of our culture and our spirituality as Indigenous people. Our elders and our people teach us to try to leave a place better than the way that we found it. So that those words, way before those words existed, it was already a part of who we are as a people. So we're here not fighting for just our kids and our children. We're fighting for all kids and all children throughout this world. You know, these issues don't affect just, you know, a certain demographic or a certain, you know, group of people. It affects all human beings. It's you know, that water, that air, the land, the healthy environment that we all need to have a sustainable future for our children and for that next generation is important. And we all need that. You know, those 1%ers, the corporations that are buying these politicians off, because that's what they're doing. They're buying the politicians off. You look at this bill, you look at the laws that are being passed, and all they're doing is favoring the corporations. They're protecting the corporations. They ain't protecting the people. These bills and bills like this are just over-criminalization of laws that they already have in place. They don't need this bill. They don't need these laws. All it is, and they've said it themselves during a committee meeting, that it's a deterrent. It's to deter us from going out there and speaking. And if we stop now, if we don't keep coming forward and we don't keep putting the pressure on them, then one day when our kids decide to stand up and fight for their future, for their kids' future, you might not even be able to post about it on Facebook and get arrested. You know, if we don't stop it now, if we don't continue to hold them accountable, our kids are not going to have a voice, and that's what it comes down to. We have a voice, and they're doing everything they can to silence us, to silence the people at the front lines in the communities that have to deal with the impacts of their decisions that many of them never even visit. They don't go to the front lines. They don't go to those communities that are hurting because of the decisions that they make. They don't care if, you know, a few years from now, 10 years, 15 years from now, water is a $10, $20 a gallon of water, because they can afford it. They can afford to buy that water for their kids. But how about everybody else? The 1% don't care. The corporations don't care. They only care about the bottom line. The more money they make, billions that they make. And these pipelines that they're making now, it's just going overseas to benefit the 1%. Not the people that are here. And we're not saying that there's going to be a change right away. It's not going to be like a snap of the fingers. We want to adjust transition. We need to start transitioning. We need to start moving to a more renewable future, a sustainable future, a healthy future for our children. But we're not going to have anything left. We're supposed to have our kids look forward to something, not dread something. We don't want them to dread the future and their future. We want them to look forward to it. We want them to prosper. You know, anyone that has kids, you don't want your kids to just survive. You want them to thrive. You want them to be prosperous in their life. We all want our children to do that. But it's making it difficult when politicians are being bought off by corporations and they're passing laws like this to try to silence us. Yes, all the work that we did, that these women and other people within the coalition did, that helped to bring that bill down to a certain degree when it comes to, you know, instead of felony charges, you know, they're going to give them misdemeanors for anyone that, you know, illegally trespasses and doesn't, you know, well, let's just say that the wording in the bill is still very broad, so it's open to interpretation. So depending if the judge is a human being and not a racist judge in the area that, you know, we happen to go to court in, you know, they can max us out every single time we go in front of a judge, which we've seen before. We've seen where we've been in front of a judge and they give them the maximum penalty, whether it be fines or time. So, you know, because of those lack of words and clarity in the bill, it's very open to, you know, interpretation for those judges to hold, you know, to decide what our outcome is going to be. And it's wrong. It's wrong. So when they sit there and they say, oh, well, if you don't, you know, create damage or deface or, you know, do vandalism against the equipment and you're peaceful protesting, it's not no longer going to be a felony. It's going to be a misdemeanor. But instead of a $4,000 fine, it's going to be $10,000 fine. Who on the grassroots level can afford to give up 10 grand? I know I can't. Especially because I got kids. My kids ain't cheap. They're expensive. My kid, you know, and I love them I love every bit about it. You know what I mean? I love spending my hard-earned money on my kids, not because I'm trying to keep myself from going to jail for trying to protect the water and the air and and the wildlife, the habitat, you know, the sacred grounds and the sacred sites of our people as indigenous people. We shouldn't have to do that. You know, they want to call us eco-terrorists. They're the eco-terrorists. They're the eco-terrorists. The corporations, they're the eco-terrorists. They're the ones destroying the land. We're the ones trying to stop them from destroying the land. Stop them from trying to destroy the air, the clean air that we breathe, the water, the land, the wildlife. We need a healthy environment to live in if our kids are gonna, you know, prosper. And so we have to keep coming out. You know, this is the beginning. You know, it made me. I mean, I couldn't even express in words and how happy I was to see our people roaming through those halls to let them know that we're here. You know, we're not gonna sit there. We're not gonna sit there and like come in there and get all suited up, put our little ties on, you know, conform to how they want us to conform. No, we go in there with how we are, comfortable the way we are, because we are the original people of these lands. We are the original people of these lands. We're descendants of these lands. We have every right, inherent right, to walk these lands and demand for a healthy future, a just transition, and a prosperous future for our children. So, yeah, I'm happy to see that, you know, everyone's coming out here and you know, taking the time. You know, our elders teach us that the most precious gift you can give to another human being is time out of your life. So I thank you for giving that gift and honoring us in that kind of way. And I pray that, you know, there's a lot of people that are on their way out here to come spend time with us here, and hopefully they'll still get here, and you know, they get here safely, and you know, we can sing. You know, Society of Native Nations represents, you know, trying to aid and support and you know, be there for the northern and southern tribal communities. That's one of our things that we try to live by. So that's why we're gonna, you know, have some of the people of these lands open it up for us. And so, you know, we always taught that when you come to another people's lands, you know, it's like going to someone's house. You respect their home and how they do things and their rules, and so you honor them in that way, and asking them to do a welcome you here in a good way. So first and foremost, we ask the spirits and the people of these lands to watch over us, take care of us. We're in their home, and then all our guests, we ask them, you know, to come out here and pray. You know, our southern communities too. You know, you got to remember our southern and northern communities. They intertwined a lot. You know, because they traded. We didn't have borders like that. You know, and because of society and because of what these people have been doing for generations, we also have a border mentality. We have that border mentality that we have to get rid of. We have to come together like we have been. Standing Rock was one of those perfect examples of the power of unity. People putting their differences aside for the betterment of their people and their community, for the best interests of the future. That's powerful. That message can never be taken away. So we need to continue to keep doing that, coming together as a community and holding these lawmakers accountable. You know, like I said, we were here long before this building was here. These lands were inhabited way before this building existed, these laws. So we need to continue coming together and praying in that way. Again, I thank each and every one of you for coming out and praying with us in that kind of way. I'm gonna have, I wanted to have Lydia come out and talk a little bit about MMIW, because MMIW, so let me say this. We just got back from Oklahoma, lots of things happening, beautiful things happening for our people. But the women are at the forefront of a lot of what we're doing today. And it's an honor to witness that and to be a part of that. So first and foremost, if there's anyone here in a bad way, you know, a predator, someone that's hurt women, carries that with them, this isn't the place for that kind of healing to happen. We ask for you not to be here, to honor those women, because we have to start putting them first and putting that healing first. So if anyone's here in that kind of way, you carry that, then we ask you in a good way. You know, in our language, it's saying that I acknowledge those spirits that have an intent to do harm or do ill. Basically saying bad spirits. I acknowledge you, but I ask you not to be here right now, and only the good spirits. So that way we can do some good work and some good healing for our people. So I'm doing that in the physical way, in the same way, because I'm asking if anyone's here in that kind of way, and you carry that, and you could potentially create harm, or put the women here that have gathered here today in some kind of a hard way of emotionally, physically, or spiritually, and mentally, then first and foremost, they come first. We need to start doing that more often. So I'm going to ask Lydia to come up here and speak a little about MMW. I want my brother Dave to come up here and speak a little bit about AIM and the forefront of what AIM is doing and what we're working on as AIM, and then we'll get started over here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, relatives. Thank you for inviting me up here. I thought I was going to go on the end of the program, but here I am. Starting trouble already. I want to acknowledge and thank for the permission to speak the Carrizo, Comecrudo, and the Apache from these lands. And the ancestors that came after that prayer, they're here in the wind. That's what my sister relative Gloria Ariana says. Tongva, who was brave enough to adopt me as her sister in LA. I am Mayo and I am Quechua. I am of the Condor tribes, south of that illusionary power of the border. To talk about missing and murdered Indigenous women is to talk about our relationship with our mother and all the abuse, 500 years plus. And I ask you right now, what would it look like if there was such a thing as informed, free and prior consent? They had to actually talk to the local tribes and have that consent in the negotiation of what would be probably, potentially, at the halfway point of climate change or crisis or emergency. So we talk about MMIW, it's our relationship right now to this mother right here, our only mother, as far as the nature of the power of her when she shakes her shawl like she did when we were in Oklahoma. We had an earthquake there because of the fracking. And then, in addition to the land issues and the air and the water issues and all the tornadoes in that area, delayed some of us from coming home. But we knew we were coming home. It's in Creator's hands. In the 1960s, you had the Highway of Tears, and you still have it up in Canada, Turtle Island, United States. We started to talk about MMIW more so with Idle No More movement and the women looking for relatives, looking for children, looking for Two-Spirit, looking for relatives. And what was the phenomenon that was happening was the actual employment of non-Indians at the man camps where the pipelines are, wherever the extractive industries are. They're grabbing women, grabbing relatives, as if we were fodder for their entertainment. And the abuse of human trafficking and sex trafficking. And everyone here, I am sure, knows someone that's missing, because that's how bad it is. And the data that doesn't exist. So shout out to the MMIW. It's not just a hashtag. I'm from Los Angeles area, as I mentioned before, so we started the social media network, MMIW LA, and if you don't have it here, I encourage you to do that, because that's the way that some of our relatives are traveling. It's like, oh, we heard that they were going to head through to Austin. Oh, and they have relatives. The person who grabbed them potentially is taking them to Vegas. And so we have to develop those networks like we had when the telephone was on the wall and our aunties and grandmas knew who to call. We have to get back to that. And we have to get back to being better relatives. To the four-winged, to the fin, to the four-legged, and the creepy crawlers, as Gloria Ariana says. And I like throwing that out there because, the kids really need to acknowledge that some of those spiders they're catching are a relative. On the other side, from MMIW, I'm going to say that there are women who are missing from themselves in our community where we ask, hey, how you doing? And our sister responds with, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. There's a responsibility in asking a second question. What have you been up to? And if they say, oh, I've been a little bit, staying home, not going anywhere, not visiting, not doing much of ceremony. No, it doesn't match. They're missing from themselves. We have to be better listeners into the response when we really ask, hey, how you doing? Because their suicide rate is way, it's too much. Our relatives are taking their own lives because they don't see the hope for another day. So being in these community spaces, I really appreciate Frankie saying, if you're not coming here in a good way, that's exactly what I'm asking of our women nation, is to lift each other, one another up, not to have these social media courts, this idea of judging and all this libel and slander on social media. And if we cannot show up to encourage and inspire one another, we have no business going out our front door, really. But the help is out there. The help is out here in Austin, San Antonio, Oklahoma. It's all around the world. We just need to actually find each other. And that's the responsibility of being good relatives. So with missing and murdered Indigenous women, it's a prayer every day. It's when I put my sandals on. It's when I head out the door. And it's when I come back home. And I'm just one of thousands of women, relatives. And we have the power of the spiritual chakra. My toolkit, spiritual crowbar. For the ones who have a hard head and a hard heart, we show up with a spiritual crowbar. Because all we're doing is, like Frankie said, holding up their words on the pieces of paper. And they're a reflection of what they say that they're going to do to cause harm, to further cause us harm. They don't even know us. They don't know that if they were to drop into our community, we'd be the first one to offer them a place to sit, a drink of water. And they're the ones who are lacking in finding our relatives. So those are the things that we need to get busy on. Not all this about protesting and not protesting. From the last breath that I draw, just hanging that banner right there was an act of civil disobedience and a direct action because it harmed what? We asked permission from the tree when we hung that. And their lack of their relationship saw that as a threat. So that's a perfect example and a good way to close. So when we see each other, let it warm your heart to know that more than half of the issue, when we're looking for people, when we're sharing a good word and a visit, is showing up. Showing up for